What is one thing you can tell Reddit, but not your own family? I farted into my infant baby brother's mouth once and caused him to projectile vomit. Had sex with my cousin a few times, didn't know he was my cousin at the time. Found out when I ran into him at a family gathering. When I was 5 I took a ring from my mum's dresser to give to a girl in my class. I lost the ring down a drain. After a party at my house in my early 20s, mum came back and said, "Where is grandma's ring?" I said I had no idea. Fast forward a year later, and I had a shower thought, frick, I lost it 15 years ago. That my brother's gay, no one in the family knows, not even him or his wife. But I know. The reason I crashed my car was because I was speeding, because Kickstart My Heart was playing. Edit. Jesus, this got more attention than I expected. Reading your responses has been a joy though. Using a throwaway, because friends and family know my actual account. That I got my first BJ today. Sometimes at night I'd watch Late Night 30, think UK equivalent of Cinemax, in the living room with the door shut and it on mute, so I could hear if anyone was coming, and quickly change it. Sometimes I could hear the TV in the room next door, where my dad was watching TV. Sometimes the sound on his TV would match the muted program I was watching. I'd have to walk past the room he was on to go upstairs to bed once I was finished. He had a habit of falling asleep in front of the TV. So sometimes I'd have to wait in the living room until I hear him change the channel away or wait for the program to finish/advert break, as I did not want the embarrassment of catching my dad watching 30th. My mom's cooking is horrible. Sorry mom. Eiley. I'm the one who used to eat all the feta. Mom thought it was my brother. She never confronted him about it, just complained to me or my dad when he wasn't around. Then at night, I'd easily burn through like a half a container of feta. Frick you bro. That's what you get for smashing my Octon semi-truck Lego set. I had a miscarriage when I was 16. My family is super religious. If I were to tell them, I'd be fricked. That I feel obligated to love most of them. That I failed my first year of college, have a 1.59 GPA, and as a result, can't qualify for financial aid. My parents scare me, so I lied about it. I said I did get approved for financial aid, and that I'd be paying nothing out of pocket except for books. I'm searching for jobs right now, and can't seem to get any callbacks. I messed things up big time. My history on Reddit, the amount of 30 subs I check out. I once tried to ride a exercise ball down a staircase in my house that had a L shape and a landing platform halfway up/down. I rode down, flipped and smashed my butt into the wall, making a huge hole. I told them I tripped. They think I rolled a bowling ball down the stairs. It was roughly that size, and I was in a after school bowling league. I think the bowling ball story makes me sound less stupid, so I just let them believe that one. Nice try, mom. I'm not religious at all. My siblings think of me as more of a parental figure than our biological father because he is a narcissistic wasted. I don't discuss my depression in much detail with anyone I roll, but I can hear. I know there's going to be a lot of people who understand what it's like. I'm numb to hope. I haven't felt actual joy in years. I stay alive to spare my mother the pain of burying her son. That when I was 17 I knocked up my 16-year-old girlfriend. She had a miscarriage. It was twins. What my first and only girlfriend said to me after she broke up with me 4 years ago: "I never liked you and wanted to see how far I could bring you up to watch you fall. I have trust issues now and I never want to feel that way again. The best way to not feel that again: never love anyone." I sometimes drink milk straight out of the container. How horribly morbidly depressed I'd get at the end of every day and the following nightmares I get from it. I'm too dumb and scared to do anything with my life and have always been a flake. I can never go through with things. I never feel like I'm good enough, and I don't see that changing. Ever since 5th grade I have an issue with working/going to school every day. I feel like full-time jobs are so hindering. A 40-hour work week is ridiculously long, and I hate that it's the standard. I like being alone, but there's no jobs like that. I try to be happy at work and it's been a little easier lately. I'm so broke I have to work no matter what, or I'll be homeless. Life is a pointless game. Why bother wasting away working for chump change for my whole life? I'd rather be dead, but I can't commit to anything. That I'm kind of a slut. I have feelings for my best friend, and have wanked to her several times. Legit. I cannot function without performing some sort of sexual act, masturbation, or sex, every day. That the extra money I make from commission and Patreon writing isn't from fantasy and family fun stories. It's DeviantArt and fanfic 30th. Edit. I'm not ashamed of writing it. For those that ask, all of my friends, online and offline, as well as all of my coworkers know I write smut. The reasons I feel unable to tell my family are not personal shame. I'm a power bottom. I found out yesterday I'm gonna be a dad. Super excited and scared as frick. My mom has no issues with gays, but has issues with bisexuals. I'm a bisexual. Well frick. I want a divorce. He doesn't help with the bills. He thinks that any money he makes is his to spend. Constantly changing jobs. Always part-time and minimum wage. I hate my job, but can't leave because of the insurance. I'm constantly belittled and held accountable for others at that crap hole job. I'm struggling with depression and anxiety. I'm losing weight at a rapid pace from stress. I carry my stress in my back, and my job is very physical. I have no retirement in my future. I've already given up ever owning a house. I'm 40 and as of now I'll have to work until I'm dead. I watch a ridiculous amount of 30 for a 23-year-old female. Also that I was hooked on dope for like a month at the beginning of this year, and it took an ear overdose for me to realize what I was doing, yet I still crave it sometimes. That I consider myself a recovering drug addict. 492 days sober. How utterly hopeless I feel most of the time. I'm getting much closer to being ready to check out. This isn't a cry for help. BTW. It's a statement of simple fact. I look forward to nothing. Enjoy nothing. Feel very little. And am essentially running out the clock on life. I stay alive for my dog. He wouldn't understand my absence if I left while he was still alive. When he's gone, I'm gone. The issue lately has been that a few months ago my insurance company stopped paying for my second daily dose of antidepressant, and I can't afford to pay for it myself. My med was cut in half with no warning, and that caused significant changes to my mood. I agree with all the people who suggested modifying my diet and adding a daily workout. I'm not quite ready to make my final exit though. To be fair, I do believe all people should have that option. With a little luck getting over the pneumonia, been utterly wiped out these last couple of weeks, and implementing some healthy changes will improve my mood. Thanks, guys and girls who responded. You helped a stranger lost in a dark moment. That I don't believe in God or religion, but I can't say anything because my family is a super Muslim family and I'm afraid that I'll get thrown out of the village, or worst case scenario, get stoned to death. This thread has made me realize I have a lot of issues I'm still dealing with about myself, but I've made it this far and I will not be broken by the world. You may want to tag this NSFW. My cousin's daughter is actually my daughter. He is sterile, and they approached me to be the sperm donor. That I freaking hate my father. It's weird because I love him at the same time. There's history. Am female. Even though I've only dated men my whole life, and have been in a serious relationship with one for the past 7 years, I like women equally as much as men. I've been attracted to females my whole life the same as males, but was deceived of my knowing. Because us females call each other pretty and sexy and men don't do that. But when I did, I meant it sexually I suppose, and didn't realize that till later in life, and that other females didn't mean it the way I did. I know my family would accept me. Probably not my grandma lol. But I can't ever picture separating with my current male partner, so they will probably never know. I like boys almost as much as I like girls. This is something that my mother and brother both know part of, but which I could never tell them the whole truth, much less my father. My mother is kind of manipulative, something I've only recently realized. When my parents were getting divorced, she convinced my brother that he wanted to look at my father's search history. My brother was freaked out by what he saw and refused to tell her what was the cause. So my mother then told me that my brother had looked at my father's search history and found something disturbing, but wouldn't tell her what it was. Asked her why she didn't look herself. She insisted she didn't care, but clearly did care, and at the time I was siding with her in the divorce. So I looked. What I told my mother was that he'd been chatting with someone named Trish, and she was too interested in the woman he was seeing to care about what had freaked out my brother. What I didn't tell my mother is that my father had been doing a lot of googling some explicitly sexual stuff, both how-tos and videos, and I now knew way too much about my father's sex life, as did my underage brother. My brother doesn't know that my mother got me involved. My mother doesn't know what actually disturbed my brother, and my father doesn't know any of this, and that's how I intend to keep it. That my stepmom and her side of the family are toxic hypocrites who preach about the Bible and religion, but who have never lived like a Christian a single day in their lives, and that this is why my cousin cut them all out of his life and only talks to me. This is also why my step-aunt hates me with a burning passion. That I'm not a virgin and I'm straight. I don't particularly want to have those conversations with others in my family, but my mom is the main reason I never will. I'm in my 30s, so you'd think the first at least would be taken for granted. But I was very sheltered as a teenager, then went to a religious college, even though I'm not personally religious, and I've never introduced them to or even told them about anyone I've been involved with. My mom reacted badly every time one of my older siblings introduced her so, and I was never involved with anyone seriously enough to consider it worth the drama. I live a few hours away from my family, so I only see them a few times a year anyway. As for being straight, I could tell them that, but I won't on principle. My mom won't come right out and ask me, but she's come very close in conversations where she says she doesn't understand why I care about LGBTQ issues. Several years ago, in response to a joking comment I made about my then BFF, she told me she'd have a stroke if I married a woman. She was dead serious, and I find that totally offensive. Letting her think that I might be a lesbian as my way of punishing her, maybe that's freaked up. Also, I don't want kids and she's less likely to push that conversation if she's afraid she'll find out I'm gay in the process. My weekly volunteering sessions are just me hanging out with my GF. My mom wants me to only get in a relationship with the girl I marry, but how am I gonna know which girl is a right fit if I don't try around and have a few relationships first? I got a girl pregnant when I was 21. She moved back to Poland to be with her family and raise the child. I'm 30 now. Only my wife knows. Edit. My family, mainly my mom, would castrate and crucify me if they found out, and not particularly in that order. I can't believe this is my most upvoted comment. Thanks. I think that I dislike my 2 adult children. They are spoiled, money hungry, soul sucking, bad decision making jerks. They were not raised that way, but their friends' lives were easier to emulate. Why? Because negativity brings more attention than normalcy. Having the same parents their whole lives made them different. To be accepted meant they had to reject the positive their friends admired and make their lives miserable to fit in their eyes only. I fear for my grandchildren. Their parents make crappy decisions based on never being better than their lifelong friends so as not to hurt their feelings. Now they have both dug themselves into deep holes of mistakes. We cannot and will not bail them out of their messes anymore. Kids, you're in your 30s now. Our mistake was we should have moved during your teen years. Widen your friendship circle. Your mistake is that you have not moved on in life. It will come back to bite you in the ass like it did to us. I'm in a family full of very religious Muslims that always lecture me on how I should be a better Muslim. But what they don't know is that I'm an atheist. I get love lust, not horny. Some days I just want to cuddle the frick out of someone I'm intimate with. Probably doesn't help that I'm a hopeless romantic and get interested in women at the drop of a hat. Being a guy sucks. I'm B. Atheist and not a virgin anymore. I know that my wife had an affair with another woman, and I have stopped talking to her for nearly 8 months. My mother keeps asking if everything is okay with my marriage, and I just tell her I'm fine. I think she knows it's not, but doesn't say it. I'm just biding my time until I can have my own house, and then I'm gonna file for divorce and hopefully pick up the pieces. I bust a nut at least twice a day, at least. I love you, but I'm too afraid to say it. I love you guys. Mostly. Big love. If I told my parents they'd be like, who are a dweeb? I'm a dom, and have been for 3 years now. Some of the things I've done to friends would horrify my family. My diploma is fake. I never graduated. I keep making advances and keep falling back further. I want to just not exist. I'm tired of being overweight, being a loser, having no friends. I just want this all to end. I fully intend on signing out after my cat and mom have passed on. I live to keep them happy. T. I'm not sure if college is the right thing for me currently, and I'm not sure if it ever will be. Also at times I feel like I'm going to break from the stress I drop on myself. Edit. Thanks everyone for the advice. I've decided to give it one more year or semester to focus on what I want to do the next couple of years, or at least find what I want to do that I like and what it will take to get there. Depending on what I decide to do, will decide if I stay in college or not. I've done cocaine a few times. Most of my family are indoctrinated evangelistic zealots, and they often have poor judgment because of it. I think they're crazy for it. I think they know this by now, though. I often tell it my dad during arguments. No one asked you. You think the earth is 10,000 years old. That literally 17 minutes ago on 4:10 am I got some clothes, went outside, relaxed, and then I got the wildest idea to just straight up wank. So I walked to look for a private spot where I found a bunch of plants and a tree. I hid behind the tree, took off all my clothes. I know this was unnecessary, but I just loved the thrill and straight up wanked it out. I jizzed my pants in high school when a girl from my class sat on my lap in the back of a van during a school trip. I was still a virgin back then, so I was intensely embarrassed. In my defense, she had a nice booty, had an awkward jog to the washrooms after everyone piled out. I ran over a cow with a tractor by accident. My relationship with my mother no longer exists because I chose to marry my husband, and I miss her so much. I'm in the last month of my pregnancy, tired of being pregnant. I want him to get out already. I cry almost every day. I want him to come out, but I also don't want to take on the responsibility of a mother. I'm scared and feel like I won't be a good mother. I feel like I'm losing myself. I just get lost in watching TV. I cook and clean and take my shower. It's like I'm on autopilot. Edit. Thank you to everyone who left me such nice and encouraging replies. It really did help reading through all of them. That I typed a million things here and deleted them all. I was born because my mother didn't want it to work. That's why I hate her on one side, but I still love her on the other side. Not my family, but I can't stand myself. She's clingy, doesn't take a stand for herself, and is always whining about one thing or the other. She's born and bred in a Muslim family and it's fricked up, man. I want out. Frick this. I resent the fact that no matter how hard I have worked or studied, how generous I'm with them, how much I help them out, that I'll always be second best to my older sister who is prettier, louder and more charming than I am. The excuses they have made for her behavior over the years, turning a blind eye to her relentless bullying and manipulation of me for years as a teenager, the bailing out when she has been too lazy to work or study, the bullcrap policy you had that we had to have everything equally and fairly, so I was denied going to a better school where I had gained a scholarship because my lazy sister had no hope in hell of ever going there with her grades and lack of work ethic. The amount of times they have helped her out financially, the amount of inheritance that was due to be mine, but has been siphoned off for my sister because she needs it more and because you have a better job and earn more than she does. Why the frick do you think that is? Do you seriously think that I'm blind and can't see what you have done for the last 30 years? I love you, Ma and Pa, but when it comes to it in the future I'm not paying for your care home. Let your favorite child pick up that. It's not like I will receive any inheritance anyway the way it's going. The real kick in the teeth is that, since my sister left home and stopped bullying me, we get on brilliantly. She is lovely and a ray of sunshine. I find it hard to resent her for my parents' blatant favoritism that continues. Oh, and my parents, mother in particular, has been all too happy to swan in and take credit for my achievements and hard work over the years. GRRRR. Always kinda wanted to kill myself, but I just got a DUI last weekend and now I really want to kill myself. That even though it's been over a year since I showed any major signs of depression, I still think about ending it every single day. I really don't want to go to my brother's wedding. I haven't even seen him in months, even though he lives 10 minutes from me. I think he's only helped me in the past because he feels like he has to or his fiancée makes him. I'm an atheist. Hardly groundbreaking. Have been since I was 12ish. So half my life now. But I'll never forget the moment when I came downstairs and told my mother I don't know if I believe in God, and in the crossest voice I've ever heard from her, she said, "Yes you do." I knew then that I could never be open with them about my religious convictions. My entire family is deeply religious. My father considered becoming a pastor several years ago. My mother, in the midst of her grief at their divorcing, which is now, told me that she doesn't understand God's will, but will follow it. My sister tells me often that she knows she's going to hell because she can't be a good person like God wants her to be. If I came out to my family as an atheist, it would ruin my relationship with each member. At present, I'm also the only member of the family speaking to all the others. So, there's that. Had sex with my girlfriend and her best friend a few times though. All three of us are massively into it, and by the looks of it, it's gonna be a regular thing. So pretty happy about all of it. They've both recently come out as bi and are into each other and it's weird. But the whole thing is just really wholesome. In the bedroom it's all just very supportive and exploratory. Also to me personally, they're both perfect 10s. Personalities and looks. I'm still riding this wave of disbelief because I was always the fat ugly kid in school. Lost a lot of weight since and cleaned myself up, but former fat kid syndrome never quite leaves you. The whole thing in a weird way has helped with self-esteem a lot. I've done LSD and crystal DMT more than a handful of times, and while I no longer consume these substances I see nothing morally wrong with it. I don't think I feel any love for them. Maybe I hate them a little. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I just don't care for them at all, after everything that's happened. I was born and bred in a Muslim family, and I lost my virginity to my then boyfriend, now fiancé. If they find out, boo. One day my dad got served for back child support out of the blue for his possible daughter by a girl he hooked up with a few times about 15 years prior. Came as a shock to us all. I was 18 at the time. Well, he goes to meet his possible daughter, and as soon as he saw her he knew right away that she was his. Looks a lot like him. They did the DNA test anyways. Came back that he was her dad. Well, he plans a meeting between him, his wife, me, and my brother to meet his daughter and her mother as a family. Well, all I knew was we were gonna meet them. Didn't know anything else. Hadn't seen any pictures prior to that. Well, we walk into a restaurant and I see this super cute girl walk by. Only the side profile and he ass. I was thinking to myself, damn, she fine. And that ass is killer. Well, we all shuffle our way to meet my new sister, and guess who I see sitting at the table we are walking towards? The girl I was just freaking drooling over. I was now the guy who had the hots for his own damn half sister. That was an odd feeling. On that note, here is a similar kinda story that sounds like it's out of some damn crappy teen comedy romance movie. There was a girl I had a crush on in middle school. She was cute and had killer hips and ass. Well, my dad had recently started dating again after being single for a long time. He and this girl date for a few months and they decide that everyone should meet. Me, my dad and my brother go to meet her and her daughter. Again, I hadn't seen any pictures or anything of either of them. Well, we get there and guess who the daughter is? My freaking crush. Go figure. Then our parents got married and my crush was now my stepsister. The only actual person I told any of this to was my half sister, and now it's basically an inside joke that any girl I fall in love with is somehow related. I don't try dare dating. When I was a child I'd eat butter sticks and bread loaves, not even because I was hungry but for fun. My mom was always overworked and thought she was just crazy forgetful and didn't buy bread or butter, but no, little 9-year-old me would eat entire sticks of butter and loaves of bread as snacks. No, don't ask me how I'm still alive now, IDK. I stuck my peen in a guy's butt and received roadhead to see what it'd be like. 0/10 did not enjoy. I have tonsil stones. That my mother is abusive, delusional, and actively treats me worse than the children from her first marriage. She is root of most of my mental health problems. She insists she has depression, when she clearly doesn't. She describes it as feeling blue some days, which turns out to be really rough on me, because I have been suicidal for the past 8 years. All my half siblings think I'm so spoiled brat and her favorite too. They never see her verbally abusing me and won't listen to me when I try to explain. I spent most of high school thinking I was a misogynist with major anger issues that no girl would be attracted to, and hating myself for having depression because of what she said to me. It took going to college and getting real friends to reassess my self-image. That I wanked a hentai. I live with a horrifically abusive narcissist and her conspirators. She has no idea my friends are coming to help me escape from this hellhole this year. Also, mom, I have a girlfriend. Even though you told me no one would ever love me. My first French kiss was with my sister when I was 9. I don't remember the context at all. I just remember the feeling. She kissed me at least twice. Maybe she was trying to teach me, I don't know. Also, when I was 11 my brother had a friend sleep over. He sent his friend into my room with a dare to stick his peen in my mouth. Thankfully I was still awake, so he didn't get to do it. Also, one night when I was 10ish I woke up in the middle of the night with the distinct impression that I had just been kissed. Wet lips. Tingly tongue. Still don't know what that was about. Yeah, I see what you did there, Reddit. Not today, not today. I really like my ass being fricked. Been doing it since I figured out it felt good as a teenager. I'm also not attracted to men. I had sex with a guy twice in college. It didn't really do much for me either time. They ended up coming, I didn't. But hey, I gave it a whirl. That said, my wife is more than happy to frick me in the ass until I'm rock hard and all revved up to frick her right back. It really gets me ready to be a goddamn piston. Guess we are both switches. We end up in a sweaty mess, orgasmed out. Each with our hole, or holes in her case, thoroughly fricked. My conservative, Christian, Southern parents would flip their crap. I'm happy to keep this to myself, and in my marriage alone. I got a tattoo when I went to Vegas last. Pretty big one on my bicep too. Anyone want to take bets on how long until they find out? My family is nice and all, but I don't care about them. I don't really care for families. I feel bad about it, but I'm how I am. I haven't talked to anyone in so long. I live 3,000 miles from my immediate family for a reason, and if I could, I'd be rid of the instant communication devices we have. A weekly phone call is good for some of my siblings, but I don't have to, nor want to, talk to my parents that often. They are not interesting people, nor do they contribute significantly to my current life. They just think I'm finding myself out here. No, I'm doing this because I'm trying to escape the shadows of my siblings and judgments of my parents. Let me live where I want and do what I want without judgment or question. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.